In this movie, let's talk about adding polls in Adobe Connect. Polls are a great way to engage your audience, maybe to find out how they feel about a particular subject, or just another way to engage them. You might want to throw up a poll question every once in a while just to ask them if they understand the concept you just taught them or whatever. So I'm going to start by creating a blank layout, and then I'm going to go in and show you the different types of polls that you can use. So I'm going into my layout menu over here, and on the bottom right, I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm just going to make a blank layout, and I'm just going to call this Sally's Survey. So I've got a blank layout. The reason it's got this red background, by the way, is that I added that as a background image under the meeting menu, under preferences. Right under general, there's a place in here where you can add a background image, and that's very representational of me, so I love it. So I use that in all my rooms. So let's go in and play with some polls. Under the pods menu, if you go to poll and choose add new poll, it makes it enormous because I have nothing else in here. So I can resize it by grabbing a corner handle, and I'm just going to go in here and add a question. I'm going to use what is 2 plus 2? I may have to use a calculator to get that answer. I'm not very good with math, but what I do for the answers, I either use a letter or a number, but I always put a couple extra word spaces in there just to help separate it. Gives it a cleaner look. So for example, A period space space, and I can put number 2. The answer for B is going to be 6, and the answer for C is going to be 735. I'm just being silly. And then I can just click open, and there's my poll. I can resize this if it takes up too much room, but always go in and check to see what it looks like from a participant's viewpoint. And to do that, I need to bring up my attendee list. So I'm going to bring that up. And I can go over here and drag myself down to a participant, so now you can see what the participant sees. So sometimes when you have a long question or you have a lot of answers, it may look okay to you as a host, but if you make yourself a participant, you'll see that some things are getting cut off. So always make sure you check that. So there is one of my poll questions. I can bring up another one. And maybe for this one, I might like to do something a little bit different. That one was a multiple choice. Maybe I want to do one that's going to be multiple answers. So for this one, I'm going to say, what colors are in nature? Which, of course, all of the answers will be correct probably. So A is going to be pink. B is going to be red. C is going to be brown. And D is going to be green. Make my word spaces match. Okay, and then I'm just going to click open. So there now, instead of radio buttons, they have check boxes. So now they can choose more than one. Another type of poll question still, if I add another poll, is to ask them for a short answer. So for example, make this a little bit bigger. If I wanted to say, what is one concept from today's course you found helpful? And then I give them the option to enter that, and I want to change this to short answer. Click open, and it gives them a place where they can go in and enter their answer. Now all of these by default, when you are a participant, you're only able to see your own answer. So I'm just going to go in here and answer these. Okay, so there are my answers. And so now when I go and make myself a participant, pull myself down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's just make myself a participant this way. Now you can see that the only answers I'm able to see are my own answers, right? So I've got 3 polls here and I've got 3 different answers. So I'm going to make myself a host again and show you that if you turn on that broadcast results, it allows people to see what other people have answered. So I have myself in the room on my PC, so I'm just going to swing around here for a second and answer this question from another computer so I can show you that. Okay, so I now have multiple answers from 2 different people, and because I've shown to broadcast the results, when I go down here and make myself a participant, now I'm able to see the answers that everyone gave. So here are my 2 separate answers, And here I've got two answers going. It shows you the percentage of what people answered. Down here, we both chose the same answer. So when you broadcast results, it allows your participants to see what other people answered. I tend to not want to do that until after they've all answered. Otherwise, you can influence people that way. So just keep that in mind. Those are some of the different ways that you can use polls. You can create layouts, as I said, with survey questions on. You can do a before and an after. If you're trying to convince somebody of something, just like you do when you're taking speech class, you can maybe monitor your class, see how they feel about the subject beforehand, and then check with them afterwards. Or maybe if you're doing a demonstration of something like Photoshop, you might want to do a poll to find out if your audience is mostly advanced or beginner or moderate. So those are just some ideas and some of the different things that you can do with polls in Adobe Connect.